I see this all the time. It's not that our generation doesn't want money from you, but it's not about the construct of money. It's not about the view of money. It's about what we can do with it. It's about food, about agency. That's really, really different. Second thing is that there is no waiting to change the world with this group. Doesn't matter whether they're a social entrepreneur or a nonprofit entrepreneur from the start, and saying, you know what, I see how this system needs to change and I'm going to go after it. Or a for-profit entrepreneur like Mark Zuckerberg made an entrance into the philanthropy world at 26 with a gift of $100 million to a school district that he had never been a part of, that he chose because it had a bipartisan leadership that could actually get things done, and he wanted to give enough money to actually try all the solutions in a highly contained area rather than just making a bet on one that he thought was cool. There has never been a less sexy entrance into philanthropy in the history of philanthropy. Seriously, there's never been a less personally driven, like perspective-driven gift. I don't think as a first approach. Not to mention the fact that he's 26. We look at Gates as the best example now. It took Gates how many antitrust lawsuits before he decided to finally grow a conscience? There's something different that's going on. And I think it's powerful, and I think it's time for us to tell this story. I think the implications are huge. If you take away the lust and the greed of excess wealth, all of a sudden these things like exploitation, profit maximization, short-termism, and these things which drive companies that were once good to do things that are no longer, become really hurt. And I don't want to overstate the case. These are going to be problems that are hard in their way to apply. These are really big implications of these shifts. The idea that for most of the successful people in our generation, we're going to start our global engagement, or however you choose to define it, at 18 or 19 or 15, rather than 45. We're going to have 4 decades, each of us has, to figure out how to be the best citizen based on what we have to do. That's transformation. But I think that actually the most important piece of this is not just the external physical change. It's the internal side. It's the idea that success is not just something that is conferred upon you by outside forces at the end of your life when you reach some goal that you set for yourself or someone has set for you. But success is an active process of finding your purpose and designing a life that you want to be. So I want to tell you kind of where I am right now. It's a way to kind of wrap this up. I told you at the beginning, I'm committed not to come back to Northwestern until I have done this. Until I made my plans, I'm not there. In fact, it's been an incredibly hard transition. Turns out that the Valley, as innovative as it is, there's a lot of things about it that really are harder than I anticipated, that are less like me personally than I anticipated, and that have a much bigger learning curve than I anticipated. I'm used to kind of waltzing into a space and being able to figure it out pretty fast and get the administration to do what I want. And that's just not the same. And it's been a real struggle. I spent 2 years where I went from top of the heap in the social entrepreneurship world with a lot of change and this sort of community of global engagement and student affairs to an absolute no one, I mean like guppy, phytoplankton level in the valley. But you know, there's never been a question for me about whether I'm doing the right thing. Because I think that what I've learned is that the line that separates you're crazy to do something from you're crazy not to is incredibly thin. And the only thing that can determine what side of that line you're on is what's inside of you. And every day I wake up to this stuff, and I get to walk out into the best neighborhood in the best city in the world. And I get to work for hours on a product that I think could transform really important organizations. And then I get to go hang out with my friends or some of the people that I was telling you about. I get to go on conferences for a weekend that are on cruise ships to the roots of the house. This is a pretty amazing thing. And the point is not that like, wow, I'm awesome. My life is awesome. But the point is that it's awesome for me and that I stumble constantly by following my own path to the best of my ability into something that I wake up every day passionate about. And so I think this is the final point for me. The truth about doing what you love and loving what you do is both more terrifying and more wonderful than it seems. The ultimate truth is that it is really on you to decide what success looks like for you. There's no one else ultimately who can do that. And there's a terrifying freedom, especially in this room. Because let's be honest, you are a part of a slice of the world that has opportunities that are just fundamentally different. And it's true, and you can do amazing things with them, but it's what you have to decide. The wonderful thing is when you realize that success is about not just the goal you set, it is, and not just the aspiration you have, it is, but about waking up every morning and feeling like you are on the path that is right for you, and that comes from inside you. There's an immense wonder to that. And when I think when they write the story of our generation, I actually do believe that it'll say that we lived up to our promise and changed the world. That we got all those things that other generations had said they were going to get done, we're going to get a lot of them. And I think that when they say why it was, it's going to be because more and more and more of us found our inner path, found our better light, and followed it, and built communities of support around ourselves to do that. And so when you're at GES this week, take time to get to know your group. Take time to engage with speakers. Think intellectually about these big ideas. But in quiet moments, try to sit with yourself and listen and feel and hear your guts are telling you where you want to engage. No wrong answer when the world is